Hey guys, Isman20 here, doing a review on the REY trucks. I have REY trucks. Okay, they're black. I originally had the green ones, and I'm just going to explain to you about my story of having REY trucks. I was riding a lot of cast trucks. I had Bears and Randalls and Paris, and had problems with the hangers just bending and bending and bending, and the axle bolts where the wheel sits on, the thread, would mushroom over from sliding hard. So that was no good. I knew I needed to find a solution to all those problems, so I decided I needed to find some precision trucks, and in a way these trucks found me instead of me finding them, but they're working out real good. Went to a race and won them on a raffle, and I basically got a code, and I went onto the website and punched in the code and chose the trucks I wanted, and these are the style that I could get. I can't remember if these are Devil Rays or Light Rays or what they are, but they're the larger size ones, so I don't think that they're Light Rays. Anyways, I got the 200 millimeter axles, and this hanger doesn't change size. The Light Rays I think are smaller size, but this is like, I think it's like 160 or something, and then, or maybe it's 170, and then if you want a larger hanger, you order bigger axle bolts. So I had ordered the biggest axle bolts, and when it came, it wasn't assembled, so I had to take these bolts and screw them into the hanger, and then there's a set screw, and then inside of both of these you have to put like a glue, like a locking glue, so that it doesn't vibrate out, and it worked pretty good. I had one occasion where a bolt came out, and I don't know why it came out. I think somebody like thought it was a gun or something, and like happened to have an Allen wrench and like a pliers and tried to take it off because they thought that I was like smuggling a gun or something. And because I was like riding it like minutes before I got on a bus, and then I think somebody was like messing with it, and then right after I got off the bus it was loose. Like it didn't loosen up like as I was riding it. Loosened up like after somebody else had it for a little while. So I don't know, but that's important. But this is like my experience with it. And so I got these like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and the original axle bolts, I rode them like in the snow, I rode them in the rain for a whole winter, and they started to develop a little bit of rust, and then I was skating with big wheels like this, and the axle bolt actually snapped, and I think it was because they were so rusty and they just broke. So they have a warranty, and I rode them, and they replaced these immediately, just in time for a race, a downhill race, and these new bolts that they got me are plated with like a special coating. I don't know what it is, but these aren't supposed to rust. I don't know if that's what he's gonna do, like he's gonna have always these coated ones or not, but I'll tell you what guys, I'm over 200 pounds, and I raced some of the most gnarliest hills on the East Coast. I went and I raced in Okemo, I raced Windham, and some of just the hills that I go and ride on, they're probably the most gnarly hills that you've ever seen. So to last as long as they did, these lasted 10 times longer than Randalls, 10 times longer than Bears, 10 times longer than Paris trucks, and those are the trucks I've had thus far. I haven't had any other precision trucks, but these have lasted more and gone through the gauntlet. And you know what? After he gave me these new bolts, these new axle bolts, I went to Okemo Mountain, and I was doing a slide maybe 30 miles an hour, and I was completely sideways and hit like this huge crack that completely engulfed my wheel, and it was an ABEC 11 gumball, and the entire core of the gumball just like disintegrated and disappeared and sheared off. But the axle was perfectly fine. The axle bolt was perfectly fine. The board was fine. I was fine. So this is the most rugged truck that I've had ever. And I'm sure that I'm going to figure out a way to destroy these as well. So stay tuned. Quick pros and cons list. Alright. Okay, pros list. It has, you have an option of degreed base plates. I'm riding 40 degree in the front, 35 in the back. It has a warranty for the bolts and the hangers. If something breaks or something crazy happens, you do some crazy shit, they're going to replace it for you. You get all kinds of different colors and shapes that you can choose from, different base plates that you can choose from, different styles, really cool colors. I think there's also a personalization engraving you can do. The hangers are heavy duty. These hangers, dude, these hangers have gone through so much gravel, and like when they get hit with rocks, they just get like a little like dent basically, and instead of like them snapping or like really wearing down, because you can tell there's just like so much steel right here, and I feel like, you know, it's like an armor, kind of like an armor, like it's like it'll dent, but it won't like break. That's how I feel it looks like. They don't bend. I bend my cast ones so that they basically are like U-shaped. They don't bend. You can choose your different width of your axle bolts, and also they're inexpensive compared to other ones. I've looked up other precision trucks and they're like super expensive, like hundreds of dollars. I believe these are under 200. So, and they're American made in Detroit. The guy who makes them goes to the events. He is personable. You can talk to him. He's a smart guy. He's not fake. He's real. So I've seen him around. And then I also got con list. Okay, the cons. The earlier set that I had that had the older axle bolts, the axle bolts can rust. That is a con. I don't know if you're gonna ride them in snow and sleet like I was. Like I rode them in Push Culture Family Picnic. It was snowing. Like, so completely possible that anything metal is gonna rust. Everything's gonna rust there. So the axle bolts can rust, but the hangers did not rust. So that's a pro. But another con is if you got somebody who's inexperienced putting together your trucks, they could forget like the little set nut or bolt right there that kind of locks in the axle bolt, or they could forget to put the glue inside to keep it from vibrating out, or they might not tighten it all the way or whatever, or you know, they might not put the bushings and the washers in right or whatever, or put the base plates the wrong side. So if you have an inexperienced boardsmith or shop guy and he doesn't put the trucks back together right, you could come up with some problems. Like something could fall off, like what happened to me after somebody tampered with it and took something out because they wanted to look inside, and they broke the bond of the glue. The axle bolt could have fallen out. So that's a con, that it could, but that can happen with any truck anyways. So another con is a lot of people don't quite believe in REY trucks yet, I think, because they don't have, it seems like they maybe don't have a huge rider like on the circuit, like some of the big names like James Kelly or Mitchell Urban or Patrick Switzer. They have different trucks, and like REY doesn't yet have a rider on the circuit that is winning races and traveling over countries. At least if he does, I don't know who it is, but I do know that there are some riders that are riding REY trucks like Kenny Best and Kiefer Dixon, and they seem to be happy with it. I'm going to say that I'm entirely happy with these, coming from either distance pushing and downhill. Totally love them. I'm riding the hardest bushings that I could find, and it's working out really good. So I can't wait to race next year after I get my wheels dialed in a little bit better. So anyways, thank you for watching my REY Trucks review. Enjoy the action footage.